Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge Lines Forever. Today, I have a 3v3 ladder match here on the most amazing Neuroxis map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Team 1, also known as the Blue Team in the West, ending with Team 2, also known as Red Team in the East. Starting off with Team 1's Northern player, then working our way southward, we have in Amethyst Purple, Team 1's Chicken Opit. I can never pronounce the last part of his name. He is Chicken for short. He is a Cybran for this match, which means he will not produce his own chickens. He is a 1756 rated. To his south, joining him on this section of the map, we have another Cybran for Team 1. It is Drimmer. He's a 21-24 rated player, the highest rated player on Team 1 and in the game overall. And again, he is a Cybran for this match. And the other player here on Team 1 on his own little section of the map in the southwestern section of the app overall, it is RNA. He is a Seraphim as this match. He is a 1707 rated in Royal Blue. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have 2 Cybrans, 1 Seraphim, no UEF, no Aeon for Team 1. Starting off with Team 2's Lonely player on the northeast and working way southward, we have in Chevy Crimson Saints Row as a UEF. He is a 1571 rated. To his south, the one of 2 players in the southeastern corner, it is Storm Lantern as a Cybran in Ruby Red as a 2067 rated player, the highest rated player on Team 2. And joining him in Orange to Color Orange is a Cybran player. Once again for Team 2, it is Neon Marine. He is a 1971 rated. So for Team 2 side of the map, they also have 2 Cybrans, but they have 1 UEF instead of 1 Seraphim, which means Team 2 lacks Seraphim Tech and Aeon Tech, which means for the entirety of this match, there are no Aeon players. Apologies to those loyal to the princess. Hopefully you enjoyed the game nonetheless. And for the 6-player ladder match, to take a look how much reclaim they have to scoop up. Currently sitting at 22,000 mass in reclaim. A little bit shy of 4,000 mass per player. Speaking of 4,000 mass, there is a huge section of reclaim in the middle of this map. Nice little X marks the spot. Essentially nothing in the direct middle of the map, but a nice huge clump of mass all around it. And in terms of mass on the map, let's take a look at maybe Team 2 side of the map this game. There is a 1, 2, 3 Trimix positions over here for Saints Row to grab. There's also a nice little 4, 5-star mech position kind of dotted right around there. And then on the southeastern side, there's another 1, 2 Trimix positions. And then that same kind of rough 5-star mech position right there. So there is a decent amount of mexes to grab as well as the mass on the map. We do see that players have started to move towards the middle-ish. It does look like Team 1's Northern player of Chicken is going to go for a nice little naval facility. So he's going to build those Salems, I would presume, and walk them onto land. Definitely a Cybran thing to do. A couple of little labs running around trying to provoke his opponent. That being Drimmer, of course, he's trying to take out those early engineers and other scout units. Looks like he does take out an engineer, so he'll deny that mech's going to be built here shortly. But nothing really too worrisome here for Saints Row to deal with. Kind of the similar situation going on here for Storm Lantern, but his little labs get taken out. I don't really suppose those are going to last very much longer. We do see a ghetto gunship online for Neon Marine going after all of the T1 mechs. Is great use of just a couple of units on board a transport. There is one interceptor nearby trying to just cover for it. Some little tiny ISLs trying to catch up to that little skyhook. But this has done a very good job so far. I don't think these were built over. Oh, there's one lost right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mechs so far taken out. There are a couple of interceptors overhead from the Northern players on Team 1. But look at that. Another mech position taken offline. That's 2, 4, let's say 6 mexes at a minimum taken out by that transport. Definitely paid for itself. And then some. Good job from Neon Marine. We do see he's in the water as well as his opponent of RNA. Storm Lantern's just on the beach enjoying a nice little bit of reclaim. Of course, that's where RNA is headed to off to scoop up that reclaim as well. We do see that Team 1's Drimmer emerging from the water, going after a couple of little strikers hanging out next to this little mechs, which I don't think those strikers are going to really appreciate a giant, tall mech running around shooting at them. We do see that Saints Row is in the water. Now he's going to intercept Chicken, who's now crossed the little pond here in the north and now is trying to establish a nice little foothold over here. I don't think that's going to last very long, but hey, it's a distraction nonetheless, which is always better than nothing. First com-on-com action occurs between RNA and Storm Lantern that I have noticed. He's going for the bigger wrecks, it looks like, or just trying to click on whatever he can get his hands on. Looks like there's a wreck that can't be targeted. Oh, looks like it is being targeted. Looks like RNA, again, still trying to reclaim. So they're both, again, focused on reclaim, but taking pot shots at one another. Same with some forces inbound from Storm Lantern as well. Naval facility online for Team 2 in the south, and a across the island land facility online for Nyan Marine. So pretty much both teams, at least somebody on each team, is doing roughly the same method in the north and the south. So we'll see if it plays out good for either of them. Of course, to point out, it is a 2v1 advantage in the opposite direction from the north to the south, meaning Team 1 has 2 players up here, Team 2 has 1, Team 2 has 2, Team 1 has 1. So there is going to be a little bit of a power discrepancy there. We do see a couple of jesters running around, maybe going to take out RNA, but possibly just going to go after other Team 1 units. So it is something to watch out for, which of course does explain the amount of pressure that both of these sides of the map are facing. It is, of course, hard to manage large sections of the map all by yourself this early on, trying to get eco up, trying to get T2 facilities online, trying to just get established in the game, and you have 2 comms bearing down your front door. Kind of annoying to deal with, if you ask me. But I do love the T2 radar system online here for Saints Row, so he gets a good readout of essentially his entire section of the map. And he'll keep sights on Chicken for now until he goes for that stealth upgrade. We do see in the south now RNA fighting with Nyan Marine. Nyan Marine is going to be forced into the water, unfortunately for him, but we see some reclaiming going on here from RNA, just trying to scoop up whatever mass he can get from his opponent. There goes, immediately starts to reclaim it. We do see that Nyan Marine actually control K's them and will try to scoop them up himself, but there's a lot of units sitting here, so he's going to take a lot of unnecessary fire, and even that frigate gets caught in the wake of that as well, with RNA just turning around to shoot that for a brief moment. It does look like Team 2 is now isolated Team 1 southwestern player of RNA via the land section of the map. Essentially the same thing is happening here for Saints Row as well. So Team 1 and Team 2, again, very mirrored in their approaches and what they're doing, and roughly when it's happening too. There's really no one player's doing something 3-4 minutes ahead of the other one. They're staying roughly lock and step in with one another, so we'll see how long that lasts. But it does look like Team 2's Nyan Marine will hold the position at least for a little while longer. He'll reclaim a tiny bit more, but he does have a radar system, a nice little Team 1 PD to protect himself. That's only going to last so much longer, especially because there's still pressure mounting from RNA, because now, of course, he's dealing with these units up here to the north from Storm, so he's going to have to send something that way to assist with that invasion. In the middle of the map, we kind of see the first kind of main groups of land forming in the middle of the map here, but mainly it's just engineers and a couple of just random mantis or other, looks like that's a Medusa running around. Dreamer, of course, going for that rest of that reclaim in that position, which he's done a great job of grabbing that. Gun speed and range, sorry, gun damage and range, apologies, for Saints Row coming online here for him. We see gun speed coming online the way for both RNA and Nya. Nya is actually further behind than RNA, so he's going to be pushed out. Looks like that radar system got knocked out. And these facilities down here are not going to last that much longer. But look at this Team 1 naval facility trying to be held onto by RNA. I don't know how long it's going to last, just due to the fact there's a lot of frigates firing at this thing in terms of course, one sow whistle sub, and unfortunately, yeah, it does get knocked out. It definitely looked that way, but there is probably a realm or a universe where that facility stayed online, at least for a little bit longer. We don't see a lot of emphasis from Team 1's Chicken for going for Navy, but he is going for T2 now, so again, maybe he just didn't want to build Team 1 units and called it a day. Saints Row has the damage on board. Chicken's like, hey, stop doing that. It hurts. He does, okay, no, he does have one little frigate online, kind of hanging out. Lots of little radar satellite dishes or whatever on board there. There's 3 of them, in fact. Wow, that's I guess one's for sonar, one's for a radar kind of thing. We do see in the east, Dreamer is continuing to push essentially the entire eastern side of the map, and then push northward, essentially encapsulate Saints Row and not allow any sort of reinforcements from Team 2 to engage. We do see Drimmers in the water as well, going for a T2 upgrade. He's probably going to solidify the middle of the map and do essentially that, exactly what I just said. Maybe he will, maybe he won't, just depends on what he decides to do. But we do see that nano repair coming online for Neon Marine, so he has stealth on board now. RNA only has gun, so he will be facing down a disadvantage in that regard, especially with that stealth upgrade. Going to be really annoying to deal with. And that one little sub that's been online for a tiny bit doesn't look like it's going to be on much longer. That frigate was dealt with, but T2 Navy is now online for Storm, and he is Cybern as well, which means he also has access to Salem's. But Storm is being a little bit surrounded here by a couple of Team 1 THAMs. There's even some Mantis coming in to assist, and T2 units as well. This could be a huge opportunity for Team 1 to score a very early kill, but a decently early kill. And these Rhinos, of course, try and deal with the rest of the Mantis arriving for Storm. It's going to be close. If Storm can get around the little mountain, he should be fine. And it looks like he does end up doing so. But it was very close. He drops into the low yellows there and got a veterancy out of it. So would have been very close to death. But unfortunately for Team 1, they do not claim that early victory that they really, really wanted. Speed and range has been started for Chicken. Stealth coming online here for Drimmer. And now Drimmer's being pushed back by Saints Row now that Chicken is in the water. So both of the pressure here from Team 1 are kind of relieved for the time being. Allow Team 2 to push back and get a little bit more of a buffer zone going on. T2 land, and T2 land online for Team 1. T2 air online for Chicken. Not for Chicken, sorry, for Neon Marine. T2 air as well for Storm. T2 land, and then I think T2 land up here. So only Team 2 has gone for air. And we will see if that ends up playing a role or not. Pretty much every map it does, but there is that rare map that it really doesn't. Transport had something on board. Couldn't really see what it was, but it got shot down anyways. But Neon Marine dropping into the red, sub 3,000 hit points, gets underneath the surface of the water. RNA has T2 and gun on board. He has 1-star veterancy. There is a Salem nearby, providing some artillery fire. Now I keep calling him Chicken, but Neon Marine back in the water, back out of the water, back in the water, back. It could be a murder-suicide situation going on here. He's a little bit above. There it is. There it is. I was going to say he's a little bit above 28. He drops RNet control case, confirming the kill. So Team 1 traded a 1,700 for a 1,900. And if you're going by ratings alone, that is definitely a worthy trade. But, of course, it is 33.333% complete, repeating, I should say, of players that have just now lost their lives. So it is a 2v2 game here. Still tied up, but each team did lose one of them. Chicken dropping into the yellow, but trying to face off all these Riptides. There's a lot of pressure from these things. There's also a couple of Wagners underneath as well, so we have Hovertech units and only underneath the surface units attacking from both fronts. Love to see that. And now these Riptides are going to just rip through the rest of these naval facilities. There is a Salem and the frigate trying to escape. The cruiser gets knocked offline. And I think the facility is being shot up by missiles. Oh, yeah, it's being shot up by a missile. Another one going to launch here very soon. There it goes. It actually opens up, fires the missile, and then closes. I don't think I've ever seen it actually fire. And there goes the missile. It should land and take out the rest of that facility. There it goes. So T2 Navy is denied for Team 1 in the north, with even more Wagners coming in to assist as well. So again, just one of those things where Hovertech for Team 2 can't be countered by Team 1's amphibious units, the underneath the surface, just because torpedoes can't hit units out of the water. We do see that Drimmer has emerged from his little watery dwelling, and he has T2 and Stealth on board. In the south, things have kind of quieted down besides just a random brick or two running in from Storm Lantern. And now, of course, with the death of those two players of Neon Marine and RNA, both of the highest rated players on each team have a second base online. It's being used to great effect here by Team 2. Storm Lantern going after all these T2 mexes here for Drimmer, trying to again snipe the eco for Team 1. Team 1 is actually below in eco as well, so they are hurting for mass. They cannot take the losses. They need as much as they can get. Bricks running around, not great. Of course, gunships have, well, there's still a couple more left remaining in this group. There's really nothing that Team 1 has down here that can really deter this attack. So we'll see if that ends up getting a lot of massive damage. We see, of course, 3, 4, 5 mexes taken offline. Soon to possibly be more than that. Looks like they're going to go... Well, they're over here. I was going to say, they're not going north. There's another T2 mech there, another T2 mech there that's not protected by anything. I'm kind of surprised they're not engaging. We do see that the Salems have now breached the land and now trying to force back Team 1's Drimmer on the southern side with naval technology that can just sprout legs and walk on land. Kind of like a mermaid situation. Saints Row going after something with a missile. Looks like the naval facility is what he's going after. A couple of Team 1 jesters running around trying to cause some havoc here from Chicken. And there goes that naval facility. Stealth coming online here for Storm Lantern in the eastern pond. And Drimmer's in the middle hanging out with a lot of his Wagners. Still, those gunships doing a very good job of just doing a lot of economic damage to Team 1's Drimmer. I mean, he's still sitting at about 150, 175, depending on reclaim, whatever the case may be. But it's just one of those things where, 6 mass a second, 12 mass a second, 18, like it adds up after a while. It's given Team 2 a considerable lead here at almost 20 minutes. 250 to 320, so about 70 mass more for Team 2 per second than Team 1. Another missile outbound going after the headquarters for the T3 side of things, and it will get shot down, that missile, which means that it's not going to work. Looks like the missile's now outbound to the north. I don't know if it's going for the T2 facility over here, or the T2 facility over here, or over there, but it looks like that gets shot down as well. So Team 1 is not having it with that missile tech. It looks like he's going to try another attempt down here. He might fall a little bit short going for a couple of mexes, but there is a zapper. I don't believe it's in... Oh, no, it's in range. But the missile needs 2 hits. Oh, it doesn't grab it in time. Needs one more TMD to really make it efficient. Here comes the Riptides once again, cleansing everything in their wake. There are some gunships. There are some Salems and frigates alive. So this should be taken out relatively quickly. Drops to 3,000 hit points and falling. I think the Riptides might have it, but the missile's going to have it anyway. So that's another T2 naval headquarters that Team 2 has knocked out. They're doing a very good job of denying water navy over there. We do see Chicken is now emerged with gun and stealth on board versus Saints Row's gun, T2, and missile on board. We do see some Wagners have now emerged, and they're being shot at by some units down here. At least trying to shoot units down there. Chicken is actually going for his naval facilities, denying Navy, essentially saying if I can't have it, no one can. Especially since Saints Row's been taking him out multiple times. Looks like Chicken might be forced into the water. Looks like he will be. There's a lot more units still coming online. Parachutes to assist the commander. The real no attempt there. Missile tries to be thrown at Chicken, but is dodged quite easily. And actually, I don't think has that big of an AoE, so it won't even really work, bar maybe a foot over or something. In the south, more mechs is being taken offline and actually being kept offline, while Team 2 has all of theirs completely fine. That is a huge benefit with all of that mass, of course, constantly being generated. But Team 1 has been catching up a decent amount. It was almost tied there, but it was possibly a power issue from Team 2 side of things. He is low on power, so it looks like he was having some power requirements that were very strenuous on his economy. We do see bricks coming in, but they get denied by Otham and Zooey pressure. Lots of interceptors. There also are a couple of ASFs sitting in that mix. There's a lot of interceptors in this mix. I'm surprised to see this many. But on 23 minutes, 23 seconds on the clock here, Team 1 has lost one player, that being RNA. Team 2 has lost a player, being Meow Marine. So it is a 2v2 game. Tied up here. Team 1 sitting at 330 mass income. Team 2 sitting at 390, 410. Let's just call it 410 to 330. So it's about an 80 mass advantage to Team 2. Of course, that isn't insurmountable by any means. But as I always say, something's better than nothing. And it could be the thing that breaks the camel's back. So let me know down in the comments what you think, or sorry, who you think is going to win this game. And of course, if you haven't done so already, please do the wonderful YouTube things that YouTube loves to see, which is like the video, subscribe, comment, share, hit the bell notification button, whatever that is, or whatever the, whatever you want to call it, the bell notification button. Again, thanks so much for watching. I really, really do appreciate it, and hopefully enjoy the rest of the cast. As we see again, the artillery in the Salem department continue to just fan out. and crush Team 1's defenses in the south. Dreamer having to put more and more attention down here and not up here. You can see that's given a lot of time for Team 2 to build up a sort of, that's not necessarily a supply line, but at least some sort of communication. And wall sections are being built as well. Looks like they've stopped, but at least to try to focus the incoming units from Team 1 somewhere else, or where they exactly would want them to be placed. Sainsborough, I think he just got a rank of veterancy there. Missile is outbound, going after a brick. It will hit the brick, not kill it, but will do most of the hit point damage. And now we see Chicken is back out of the water once again, going after the frontline positions in the north for Saints Row. Looks like the Salems in the south have retreated actually a little bit, and the bricks wanting to just hold the reclaim field. Definitely don't blame them there. We'll see if that ends up netting them any positives or negatives from that. We do see T2 Navy online once again for Team 1's Chicken. That's probably the third time this game, and he's actually almost... he's not looking really good. I was going to say he's almost going to die, but I think he is going to die here. I don't think he can get his head on... Oh, that was close. If some torpedo bombers come in, that might just be the death of Chicken. Missile comes in way too late. It looks like he might act... Oh, no, it doesn't strike his own unit. But still, Chicken being reduced back into the water. He doesn't have nano. He can't be effective unless he has that torpedo upgrade in the water, so he's kind of a sitting duck almost. He does have T2 Navy. His opponent of Saints Row also has T2 Navy, who is currently being shot at by one lonely little brick. Looks like there's another one earlier from Drimmer. It looks like Drimmer's going after the engineers first just to halt production on forces. We do see there's another brick inbound here from Drimmer. You can see all those torpedoes racing from other torp launching facilities, and Salem's and cruisers in the water. The Sirens class able to bombard the naval facility. A little bit of payback here for Team 1 since Saints Row essentially denied. I think it was 2 facilities, 2 T2 naval facilities. I don't think there was 3 of them. In the north, Brick tries to run by, doesn't really go anywhere. Does get a couple of mexes offline though, so that's 9 mass a second. And that's 7.5, 8 mass a second. Or maybe it's 7, 7.5. Maybe that's what it is. But still, it's still a chunk of mass. Every little bit makes a difference. That lead, of course, has narrowed quite significantly. It's about 50 to 60 bar reclaim or power or whatever else is going on. But the Salem pressure here from Team 1, again, it's the same thing that's happening in the south for Team 2. And you can see, just look at how much stuff Drimmer just does not have. Nice line of bricks protecting the northern half of that bombardment area. I would love to see that line maybe stretched out a tiny smidgen more. Now we can have a wider berth of protection. But at least at a minimum, he has something there to protect those Salem. So good move there. You can see how much more progress Team 2 has made in that naval bombardment. We do see a couple of missiles outbound from Team 2. I don't think that's right. Oh, those are spearhead shots, aren't they? Yeah, those are spearhead shots. I was like, why is the arc so very weird? And that's because the unit is moving. Bricks moving in. Saints Row should be able to deal with those quite nicely. He's at 5-star veterancy, almost 14,000 mass kill for himself. 21,000 base hit, or hit points, I should say, not base hit points. And no shield as of yet. Saints Row builds another missile on board. Maybe he'll fire it immediately. I highly doubt it, but he is looking a little bit worse for wear. You can see the bricks can slowly still fire at him every so often, and the bricks continue to move. At this point, you might as well just put the move order right about here. That'll continue the walk forward. There are a couple of loyalists inbound. Sorry, not loyalists, Titans, excuse me, to try to stop the incoming pressure. But Saints Row might be another departure for Team 2, especially with the Salems moving in from the northwest, or maybe just the west in general. It's not looking good for Saints Row in that northeastern section. Again, in the south, it's still about the same thing and same scenario type, but it looks like there's a little bit more available for Drimmer to fight back with. Large group of gunships inbound with a bug. So I think that's the first experimental build of the game. It's a bug. You don't see that every day. I don't particularly like the bug, but that's just me. A couple of bouncers nearby is not going to deter the amount of ASF and interceptors. And Saints Row is defeated by that group of bricks. So Team 2 loses another player. It's now a 2v1 game. Team 1 leading the players left alive game for the first time in the match. We do see interceptors trying to help, but they just get ripped apart. Nothing really much they can do about it. They just don't have the hit points, the firepower to fight back against an experimental of that size. Is there AA being built? There is all the time. There's a bunch of bouncers being built. I feel like there's not that much time left. T3 land headquarters does go down, so losing access to T3 land, definitely unfortunate for Drimmer. And that's Seraphim down there, which means he'll have only access to Seraphim tech, which he'll of course need to build a Seraphim facility up here to actually benefit from that. I'm kind of surprised not seeing more AA in this mix in terms of building it. There's a lot of, I guess, T1 engineers, which is probably why we don't see much. You would assume that we would see T3 SAMs or a lot more flak or something, but not much. There are, of course, some whalers in the mix, which make fighting those units a little bit more difficult. There are some interceptors, ASFs about to stack up. They go after that Soul Ripper. There's no call to action from the ASFs nearby, and that might give Team 1 the opening to take out the rest of the hit points on the Soul Ripper. It's close. It's about 16,000 more interceptors inbound. That's not going to do anything. It's a nice attempt, but not going to go anywhere. So Team 1 is losing the western half of their side of the map. Northwestern side of the map. Team 2 is losing the northeastern side of the map. And this chunk of land is also slowly depleting as well in terms of control. We do see the ASF stacking above the column of Drimmer. That's never where you want to see. That makes me think Team 2 knows where he is. They don't, but that makes me think they know where he is. You do see a couple of Salems still bombarding the main base here for Storm Lantern, who of course has control over everything at this point in the game. So 33 minutes, and Team 2's last remaining player is Storm versus Team 1's Drimmer and Chicken. So all Team 1 needs to do is get one more kill. Team 2, all they got to do is essentially force Team 1 to leave or get 2 more kills. That's pretty much the only option. I do hear some strap bomber fire. Oh no, those are Team 1 bombers. They sound like T3s. We do see it's just being baked in holy fire. There it goes. Finally gets taken out. But there's a lot of dead mexes over here. There's even that gunship that came over here, the nice little Soul Ripper. More ASFs, a decent horde of them in fact, coming in to assist and protect that investment. And there are bricks over here to the north that might just get ripped apart here very quickly. Yep, it looks like they are inbound for that target. Southwest land invasion actually happened against the base. It's kind of been brewing for a little bit. There's also some artillery emplacements that have been built in the meantime as well, softening up a little bit of those defenses. Large battle ray PD, that's going to go down. There's no loyalists in this mix, which I'm a little disappointed. I would love to see the EMP tech be used a tiny bit more, especially players playing as Cybran, because that's a unique unit to them. Same as the Percy is a unique unit to the UEF. It's that same kind of thing. Might as well use the unique units. You do see that those bricks are just having a grand old time down here in the southwest. I think the T3 land headquarters might actually get taken out, which will be devastating for Drimmer, who lose access to Seraphim T3 land. He can obviously build back if he still has engineers, but there may come a time where he doesn't have access to even that. Northeast counterattack with bricks and other supporting units inbound. And this group of land spam not really going to work here for Chicken. We'll see how much longer it ends up actually staying alive, but I don't think it's going to stay much longer. It looks like the main base for Team 2's Storm Launcher is just confined to this central position. And Team 1 just didn't have a nuke that I ignored, right? That's just an explosion from something else, right? Right? No, I don't think there's any nuke hiding anywhere on the map. We do see those bricks still coming in, and they are going to force Chicken out of the water once again. There actually is a Percy or two dotted in the mix, so that will add a little bit more to that firepower potentiality. There's still more units on the shoreline trying to help out with the air fight, and they do help out a little bit, but not enough to make a huge difference at this point in the game. 36 minutes on the clock here, and now Team 1 has lost essentially the entire southwestern section of the map, and it looks like Drimmer has gifted everything over to Chicken, which makes me think Drimmer's trying to do something drastic, or he's just going to be like, hey, you get all the stuff, you can do with it a little bit better than me, and then call it a day there. 37 minutes almost on the clock here, and Team 1 is trailing behind mass income quite significantly, 600 to 370. That's over 250 mass more income for Team 2 than Team 1, which is not necessarily game-ending worth of mass income, but it can be. Especially in a 3v3 ladder match. Nice air grid expansion. Nice. Oh, well. I wonder what you are going to be used for, Corsairs. Looks like some bricks do make it underneath the surface of the water, but they do have torpedoes on board, which can fight back against the Salems and the Sirens. You can see that the Salems, they have some torp defenses online, but if you just overwhelm the defenses, there's only so much those things can do. And yeah, the torpedoes from the bricks don't do that much damage, but they do enough to just be annoying. Which, of course, being annoying could be the thing between victory and defeat, but it's usually just a little bit more APM or mass cost or something, and the issue is remedied. You see Drimmer flying around with his comm, though. Don't really know what he's doing, but he's doing something. You do see in the south a group of bricks moving in, but there's a monkey been built here by Chicken. So instead of Chicken playing a Seraphim where he can build monkeys, he is a Cybran building monkeys who's named Chicken. Please explain to me how that makes sense, because I do not. And thus the way Saints Row, one of the two dead players on Team 2, spots the Michael Lord and points it out to his teammate. I do love that kind of assistance there. Looks like he's just going to die. Yeah, he just... Looks like he was going for the air. Air wins his German. Well, that's one way to take out air. Is just blow up next to a bunch of ASF. If you now have 1 billion torpedo bombers, you win. I wouldn't say 1 billion, but if Team 1 did have that, they probably would win. If they knew where he was, I think is kind of the other little dig there. First, he makes it onto land once again. But there are jesters waiting for him and some PD to shoot at him, so he's going to eat hit points very quickly, and then he's just going to go the way of the dodo. There he went. Another group of bricks stacking up here for Team 2 Storm Lantern. I wonder if he'll try another attempt on the monkey. The monkey is still sitting at essentially just no loss in hit points, almost newly minted off the lot. We'll see how long that lasts, but I highly doubt it'll last too much longer. Laser has been started by Chicken. Very interesting, because now that there's only one player on each team, it has gone from an annihilation, demoralization game to an assassination game. And yeah, demoralization can work, but when you're in a situation where your opponent has 3 of the 4 corners of the map and you only have 1, the mass income is doubled what currently Chicken is producing. Assassination is definitely the better way to go, in my opinion. It just depends on how you can actually get him. There are some torpedo bombers stacked up next to him. There's some AA being built next to him. So he's going to be protected from a little bit of torp defense or torp bombers. But again, it all comes down to, can Team 1 claim the kill or can Team 2 claim the kill? Because you can have nothing on your side of the map and you teleport in, kill off a comm, and that's the game. It doesn't matter how you start or continue on forward. It matters how you end. Fat Boy, of course, sitting over here. Very useful unit. I think it's actually able to sit on the shoreline and actually bombard. Yeah, I think it can actually bombard that T2 naval facility. That's still there, I might add, but I don't think it'll be there for much longer, especially with the Monkey Lord, the Fat Boy pushing in on that northeastern side. 42 minutes on the clock here, and looks like a little bit of a tiny air fight, but mainly just driven by the fact that Team 2 doesn't have as many ASFs that they had. The ASF do take out... No? They don't take out... Oh. I mean, it's a really will they kind of thing. And it looks like Chicken just does not get the kill on the Solar. Very unfortunate here for Team 1. That would have been a great little grab. Of course, they lose air because they had a little bit of air, but not by much. But Team 2 Storm Lantern recovered, and that gunship is going back to base, and there come the Corsairs. And that is going to be a very bad day for something on Team... Oh, and then they'll go, oh, I can't really engage because that thing is not out of the water. But there are some bouncers nearby here for Chicken, who are going to do actually a ton of damage in dealing with a lot of these Corsairs, especially when they do their initial run and they stack up like that. Look at that, the hordes of them just wiped out. Those bouncers probably won't live to fight another day, but I mean, they've taken out a lot of those fighters. Nuke is outbound from Team 1. First nuke, I believe, of the game. 43 minutes. Does Team 2 have an SMD? No, they don't. Had they gone for the comm, that would have been a win. Storm Lantern gets on a transport. Oh, that's... Oh, he's okay. Does he move? Looks like he moved a little bit eastward, so he doesn't actually land near his base. Yeah, he's going over to the east. I was gonna say, if he flies in the path of that nuke and then the nuke hits him, that would have been very bad for Team 2. But here he goes. Kaboom! That nuke is very successful. Takes out the entire air grid. Will help out with that thing in terms of air superiority sooner rather than later. Fat Boy shield. Offline, online, offline again. Don't really know what happened with that, but still, the Fat Boy is taken out by those those renegades, not the whalers, and some gestures, I might add. Not a lot of T3 gunships here from Team 1's Chicken. Looks like he just wants to go the T2, T1 route. Trimmer says lots of PD. Yeah, it's definitely important just due to the fact there's just a lot of units pumping out in this northeastern side. I was about to say it looked like we were going to have a base trade where Team 2 takes the southern edge, Team 1 takes the northern edge. But it's taking a lot of time for Team 1's Chicken to get to that point. Next nuke here, says Drimmer. Yeah, that would be a great grab. There's a secondary air grid over there. There isn't going to be a lot of SMDs being built. There's probably going to be one central one, probably in the southeast, and nothing more. So that second nuke is also open season. Nothing is loading decently quick, though, especially considering that Team 1's Chicken's at 500, Team 2's Storm is at 900. They're both doing a very good job of ecoing, but obviously we can tell. I mean, with map control just alone, Team 2 is going to do better, pretty much. But with an experienced player like Storm Lantern being over 2,000 rating, he knows what he's doing. With all that mass, he's spending it, and he's also trying to build. He's also trying to scale. You can see that his power is actually, it's full, which it normally usually is, but his mass bar, it's about to fill. He needs to spend it on something. He could build a Scathis. He could build a Mavor if he really wants to in the north. Don't know if that would really be worth it at this stage in the game, especially considering it is a ladder match. You don't see that many game enders in ladder matches. You do once in a while, but not terribly. We do see a newly minted Monkey Lord off the supply lines here, off the assembly line for Storm. And again, not much AA, but there's definitely not enough to really warrant. Oh well, okay. Stacking up with with bugs might do it. That looks like that bug that survived a lot of attacks is still alive, sitting at now 3-star veterancy, 43,000 hit points. And they are going to crush those crabs, to say the least. It's a nice little role reversal going on, with the bugs are doing the crushing instead of the crab and the monkey doing the bug crushing. ASF come over the top once again. Nuke is outbound. And does it go there? It does go there. So that bug producing facility is not going to last much longer. Maybe they'll get one off the assembly line just in time. It does look like it does get built in time. Does it get moved in time? No, it's going to land next to it. Pigeons are going to be built. Looks like the move order was pinged. Say, hey, got to move. The bug will get out of range. Kaboom! There goes another group of air grid Pigeon. Very goody things here for Team 2. And of course some cruisers trying to take some spot shots at some gunships from Team 2. We do see a decent amount of units just kind of roaming the fields in the northeast. Not really a lot of reconstruction efforts going on. Mainly just efforts on building Fat Boys or game enders or artillery or whatever. That sort of thing. Looks like nothing really consequential in terms of the air grid. Small air grid, little chunk right there, but nothing too terrible. The land invasion has occurred here from the middle from Storm Lantern. And we'll see if that will be the straw that breaks the camel's back for Team 1. We did see, of course, a crab and a monkey got taken out. At least the crab is there. I don't know where the monkey went. I don't think it was already reclaimed. That would have been too fast. There's another one being built back there. It's already half done. Fat Boy got killed off up there. It needs to get reclaimed immediately. It's just, it might just come down to an APM kind of thing where Chicken's running around doing as much as he can, but Storm is just a little bit more adept at dealing with all of the responsibility, essentially. 3 more bugs inbound, and now we have, I think, that 4 wherever that other one went. It didn't get caught in the blast, so I don't know where that third one went. Maybe it just got shot down or something. It's totally possible. But it doesn't look like the defenses are going to hold 50 minutes on the clock here. Monkey is going down. Bugs are going nowhere here for Team 2. Lots of AA built. Maybe they'll get 1, but I don't think they'll even get 1. I think it's just not going to be the case here for a bug riding. Or not bug riding, a bug grouping over here. A bug riding. Imagine you put a comm on top of the bug. That'd be very funny. In the eastern side of the northwestern landmass, the beach is getting eroded by all of the bricks. And are those Percy's in the mix? Yeah, there's Percy's in the mix. Laser is on board for Chicken. He doesn't have cloaking, but he has the laser, which is better than nothing. Another FAF boy has now emerged. It might be targeting that comm. The comm is going to do whatever it can to try to hold. 1 bug does get eliminated by the AA, but that's not going to be enough. That might just be the end. Another, of course, experimental killed off for Team 1. And Chicken's in the water all by his lonesome. I don't think it'll be long for this world. 51 minutes on the clock here. And I think Team 2 has this in the bag, or at least Storm does at this point, being the sole survivor of Team 2. Air Griddick's going down. That's going to hurt the Pigeons a lot. And Chicken's in the water. He's being shot at. Another nuke is outbound, so they did launch a 3rd nuke. And another bug is taken offline. Those bouncers coming in really handy. But I don't think it's going to be enough. I don't even know if Team 2 knows where... Sorry, Team 1 knows where Team 2 is. Which they do not. And that nuke is going... Oh! No, looks like somebody did maybe spot him. And Drumlampton goes, okay, I'll move. Fine, I like my happy place, but you have to make me move. And it looks like Chicken might be... Oh, no, I don't think he'll throw in the towel just yet. But he has his own bug online, so that's something. And the nuke lands. Kaboom! Takes out that position, but there's really nothing there. Anyways, Chicken dropping below 2,700 hit points. And that's the end of Chicken. There's really no way out of it here for him. He's kind of just dead in the water. You see less than 1,500. Less than 1,000. There's a transport trying to pick him up, but it doesn't matter. And Team 1 loses the game. 52 minutes and 44 seconds on the clock. Team 2 wins it. Nice little difference in map in terms of not really a lot of game enders. Not really, I said no game enders, no artillery. There was a couple of T2s. And of course there was the nuke. But that was really it. Let me know down in the comments who you thought was going to win this game, and if you were right or wrong, or what you felt about the match overall. MVP, of course, goes to Stormlantern, being the sole survivor of Team 2. That's kind of the way I choose who ends up getting MVP. Usually it's just, especially in these games where a lot of players end up diving in terms of percentages, there's only so many players you can pick. So that's just kind of how it is. Again, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I will see all of you in the next one.